All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are live and welcome to tonight's NASCAR Truck Series Rackley Roofing 200 live commentary stream from the Nashville Super Speedway. They're on the parade laps getting ready for the start of tonight's action and a triple header for the NASCAR race weekend as they head to probably the biggest, one of the more better cities down south, Nashville, Tennessee, for this weekend's coverage. Appreciate everybody tuning in. Late start time here for this one. We were supposed to start the live stream at about 8. Got caught in traffic. There was an accident on I-75 and I was heading home from the golf course. So I got here a little bit late. But regardless of the fact we are here, we did not miss the start of the race. That is the big important thing. And let's get down to business. We'll quickly run through the starting lineup before the drop of the green flag here in about another lap or two under caution speed. Nick Sanchez is on the pole. The number 2 truck still searching for his first career truck win. And Bailey Curry for Nice Motorsports will start outside of the front row in second. Row 2 will be Raja Caruth and points leader Corey Heim. Heim with 1 win this year and a 1-point lead heading into tonight's race. Tanner Gray and Grant Enfinger will come in for row 3 for the start of this one. Enfinger won on the last intermediate track in the truck series. Carson Hocevar and Zane Smith will line up in row number 4. Smith, the only multi-time winner in the truck series of the truck regulars so far this season. Daniel Dye and Taylor Gray will be in row number 5 for this one. Row 6 to start off will be Ty Majeski and Chase Purdy. Majeski second in points, just 1 behind Heim as mentioned moments ago. Jack Wood in the 51 for KBM tonight. Christian Eck is to his outside in row 7. Row number 8 will be Matt DiBenedetto, and Ben Rhodes to his outside. DiBenedetto still on the cutoff line for points, comes in +7 on Tanner Gray. Tyler Ankerman, Stuart Friesen will line up in row number 9. Lawless Allen and Haley Deegan will round out the top 20 in row 10. Jake Garcia, the hot rookie this season, will be on the inside of row 11. Timmy Hill to his outside. 3-time Truck Series champion Matt Craftsman on the inside of row 12 with Jake Drew making his first start of the season for Thor Sport Racing to his outside. Colby Howard and Brett Holmes will be in row 13. Jonathan Schaefer and Tony Breidinger in row 14. This is the 3rd start of the year for Breidinger in the 1 truck. Nick Lights and Memphis Villarreal will be in row 15. Lane Riggs making his first truck start of the season, looking to see what he can do. He had a top 10 at IRP last year. He'll be on the inside of row 16 with Mason Maggio to his outside. Spencer Boyd and Corey Roper will be in row 17, and then rounding out the 36 truck field tonight will be Chase Janes and Dean Thompson in row 18. Pace truck is down onto pit road right now. The green flag is about to wave as the field enters the Geico restart zone, and we are racing tonight at Nashville for the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. Nick Sanchez on the inside line off the start will move up to try and take away the line from Bailey Curry on the top, who has to lift and let Sanchez in. And that is going to free up the bottom lane now for Raja Caruth to try to take over the second place position away from the 41. Door-to-door down the back for second, while Sanchez remains clear by about 3 truck lengths into turn 3. Caruth will slot job his way up to second as he clears the 41. And now Corey Heim to the outside of the 41 truck as well, as he'll quickly take over third onto the front stretch. Clip the apron a bit as they cross the start-finish line. 3 wide behind him around Carson Hocevar, Tanner Gray, and Grant Enfinger before filing down to double wide, 2x2 into turn 1. So Sanchez leads the opening lap of the race by about 0.6 of a second over Raja Caruth in second place, who had a great qualifying effort. The race is on Fox Sports 1 tonight. If any of you guys were wondering, remember the second half of the Xfinity and the Cup Series season from here on out will be on the USA and NBC network, but the Truck Series is still covered by Fox Sports and Fox Sports 1 for the remainder of the year. And appreciate everybody tuning in here to the live stream in the early going tonight. Sorry I don't have the thumbnail up. I'll try to get that up as soon as I can throughout the race. It was a really last-ditch effort to try to get this, but we got the starting lineup in right as they were going green there and timed it out nearly perfect. Kenneth Clark, Terry Lewis, Wade Selinsky, Union Pacific 4855, Trentman Railfan. Thanks for tuning into the stream. Couple of Thor Sport trucks outside the top 10 battling side by side for position, it looks, as Matt Crafton and Ben Rhodes are those two battling. Rhodes hasn't really qualified too well in a lot of races this season, but seems to be up in the top 10 by the end, and we'll see if that will be the case again here today. One truck goes way up out of the groove that they were racing around the 99 and the 88. I couldn't tell exactly who that was. Looked like it was perhaps Lawless Allen in the 45, and it was. Deegan to the inside of Allen, washes up into him. Around goes Deegan into the outside wall. Caution flag is out. Allen gets T-boned from behind as well from somebody else further back in the pack. And we have an early wreck on lap 5. Haley Deegan overdrove the entry to turn 3, washed up into Allen. Both trucks go around. Deegan backs it into the wall, and as Allen was backing up the racetrack, he got absolutely T-boned in the left side by what looked like maybe the 51 of Jack Wood. And we're already under our first caution, and you can mark down another Lawless Allen and Haley Deegan accident on the year, because I feel like every other week one of those two, if not both of them, are in a wreck. And we've seen them in wrecks with each other multiple times this year as well. I do think the 13 truck of Deegan will be able to continue. They'll just have to pull out the fender around the left rear, but that's definitely going to knock some speed out of it. I don't think Jack Wood has too much damage after hitting the 45 of Lawless Allen. Kind of surprised that he didn't make more contact with him, although there's a lot of damage to the front bumper of Allen's race truck. It looked like he overcorrected it after sliding sideways from the initial contact from the 13. So around they both go, and we're under an early wreck. It just looked like she drove it in a little too deep, lost the front of the race truck, got a bit tight. A little too hard too early. Tried to get that spot when Allen went up the track and the 88 had gone past the 45. I'm surprised there wasn't more damage to the 51. At least it didn't look like there was much damage on the camera angles of the 51 of Wood in his pit box, but I will say, showing the replay, it did look like he hit Allen pretty hard once again, which is what it looked like when that initially took place. Michael Turner, thanks for tuning in as well. Got 19 people watching. I'm going to be creating a thumbnail on the side so I can upload this while we're under caution. Periods in this one. Gotta think about this here. NASCAR. As we are under a first commercial break of the race, we'll stay right here with you guys. In this one, an early wreck on lap 5 involving Haley Deegan, Lawless Allen, and Jack Wood. Come on, get off the screen. There we go. Got about 24 people in here. Our goal is 100 likes tonight. We're at 8 already in the early going. Appreciate that. Be sure to like and subscribe for more daily NASCAR content if you have not already. If you're wondering what I'm doing right now, I did not get a thumbnail uploaded for this video. It was a very late start. Got caught up in traffic on the way home from the golf course. There was an accident on I-75. Pretty much around downtown Toledo, and kind of got held up. Luckily, I got there when I did, though, because it looked like the accident had just happened, where if I would have been at the back half of that, I don't think I would have made it home well before the start of the race. So later start to this one, but we still got the start of this stream going before the race had actually began. Now we're just waiting for the cleanup to take place and get back to green flag racing. Nope, that ain't it. That ain't it either. Did I not just save that cropped photo? I'm having to rush around here, and I'm trying to get this up before I get back to racing. There we go. It's under the wrong file. Like they're just coming back from break. Shouldn't be having any pit stops considering we were only 5 laps in. don't worry, I'll get that leaderboard up to you guys as soon as I can. Looks like they're doubling up right now. They will be going green this time by. And they're on the backstretch, so I'm just going to wait to finish out the thumbnail until after we get to the end of stage 1 or the next caution, whatever happens first. Because they are about to go green once again. Almost got it done. Just got to crop it out and display it. So Nick Sanchez on the front row, the restart inside lane. He'll be the control truck once again, just like he was at the start. Raja Karuth will be in the outside of the front row this time with Bailey Curry and Corey Heim in row 2. Green flag is back in the air at Nashville. Double wide start all the way through the field. Very narrow front stretch at this racetrack. Roughly 1 1/3 mile oval. Sanchez went high to clear the 24 truck. One truck, Zane Smith, got sideways in the middle of a 3-wide battle between Corey Heim and Carson Hocevar. Caution is out further back in the pack, it appears, as Lawless Allen is broke once again. Right front tire down on that race truck. He has pounded the outside wall hard a second time. And Allen involved in the first 2 cautions in the first 10 laps, but this one will do him in, and it does not look like he is going to continue. So he is climbing out of that race truck after it appears that he took an even harder hit than what he had before. Maybe a right front head blown. We'll wait to see a replay of exactly what happened, but we're under caution, not even a half a lap into the restart. On the camera angle, Zane Smith got loose when he was pinched between Hocevar and Heim. Actually made contact with the left rear of Heim's race truck, who was to his outside, but luckily everybody was able to keep on keeping on there. Smith did lose about 2 or 3 positions when he got back into the gas. Could have lost more, though, if that caution didn't come out freezing the field behind him. Did not help that Zane Smith actually looked like he spun the tires on the restart, which is why Hocevar went to the bottom to go 3 wide. And actually, it looked like the 38 just pushed tight. It looked like he shot into turn 1 too deep, similar to what Deegan did in turn 3, which caused the first accident. Only Smith did a much better job, of course, keeping it off the truck to his outside. And the accident ended up happening behind him instead. Well, now I can finish that thumbnail up. Go back to that. Nope, wrong screen. I'll let you listen into the caution while that's going on.
Just came out of the car, by the way. Just kind of flew out. I don't know if you heard it over or what, but I think that's maybe one of the 45 just wrecked.
Well, you see a lot of stuff flying around at times in your career. Screwdriver's maybe one of the most benign things you can see. Big old chunk of lead coming out, that'll get your attention.
Yeah. I had a flashlight up under the dash one time when I was qualifying at North Wilkesboro. Fell down at my feet, so I was trying to kick it out of the way at North Wilkesboro while I was going down the straightaway.
Not distracting.
Not at all. Not at all.
Oh, is that my phone?
This is unbelievable.
There's a cell phone on the racetrack, and it definitely looks like it has been flattened.
We'll have to do a little research.
Joe, get on that.
We'll just see who the Clemson fans are.
That's it back straightaway.
Talk to our stat guy, Joe, see if anybody's got any Clemson ties.
I bet it's a South Carolina fan that threw it out there, actually. You know, they're rivals. That takes me back to your moment at St. Louis. It takes me back to Brad Keselowski in the rain-delayed Daytona 500 when he was tweeting inappropriately, right?
Well, we're off to a start.
Yeah.
We've had a couple of cautions in the first 10 laps. You can see the rain clouds off to the west and a cell phone's on the back straightaway.
Let's get a couple of reports from pit road under caution, Josh.
Yeah, let's start with the 23 of Grant Enfinger. 2 wins in the last 5 races so far this season. Coming into the night, wasn't all the way happy with the way that truck was handling, but he was confident heading into this one, saying, hey, we were tight in practice, we'll get there. Well, off the top of the race, he's been a little loose, so they need to split the difference there. But this is a guy that's so confident, he said, we can go to any track and win. A far cry from where they were this time last year before he switched back to Jeff Hensley as his crew chief. They have a lot of confidence, and they say with those 2 wins under their belt, they can afford to be a little more aggressive than usual, Amanda.
Well, Rajat told you earlier, Josh, that he's in like a lamb and out like a lion. I'm still not quite surely what that means, but prolific nonetheless. But when you think of him applying what he's doing here today, he started 3rd on the track, has gained a position, but he's done that by copying Nick Sanchez. Said that he's racing in the traction compound in 1 and 2, and not sure what Nick is doing in 3 and 4.
Yeah, we've talked about the resin that they put down on this racetrack. As we get another look at the phone, they're going to get that phone.
The AMR safety team phone recovery crew, they do such a great job. If there's a phone on the track, they're going to find it, and they're going to get it and return it to their owner.
And sometimes the owner might say thank you and slide him some cash. I hope you paid the folks that found your phone in St. Louis, Michael.
You know, it's budgetary concern on my part. Trying to work through some things.
You might add that for the 2024 fiscal year.
Man, I want to see these trucks go racing. We've seen them slipping and sliding and loose and 2 and 3 wide. These caution, that's me as a broadcaster. Imagine those guys behind the wheel. Some of them, you know, for example, the Gray brothers back there, 10th or 12th, 6th or 7th, excuse me. They want to fight through this field. They know they got good trucks.
We'll step aside at the 1/3 point of stage 1, Sanchez out front.
So under caution for the 2nd time today. Caution at lap 5 and a yellow at lap 10 on the first lap following a restart. Wallace Allen's car had broken down. Hit the outside wall, had damage, of course, from the earlier incident between him, Deegan, and Jack Wood, where he definitely seemed to have the most of that damage. He is retired from the race. Both Wood and Deegan still remain in the race, and in fact, I believe Jack Wood got the free pass with this caution coming out. I think he goes from 2 laps down to 1 lap down, then Deegan is still 2 laps down, if I am not mistaken. Phil Moore, Earl Arnold Jr., Frank Powers, Smokey in the Pot, thanks for tuning in. Billy Kramer, welcome to the stream. NHL 23 kept glitching. I heard about the NASCAR Heat 5 update not being good. Sorry for anybody that purchased that. I did not, so I lucked out. I didn't plan on it. I don't even have NASCAR Heat 5. I'd have to buy the game. I could probably buy it for cheap, but it ain't worth it. Yeah, they have recovered the phone on the racetrack. It was not Michael Waltrip's this time. I think they said it had a Clemson Tigers case on it. We have already ran more caution laps than green flag laps through the first 14 in tonight's race. We have coverage all weekend long for the NASCAR race weekend at Nashville Superspeedway. Our Xfinity Series race coverage will begin tomorrow afternoon at 3:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then the Sunday Cup race will be in the evening hours, as we'll start that off at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time as well. Roughly a half hour to 45 minutes before the drop of the green flag just after 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which would be about 6 o'clock local time. So the race might end in the dusk hours of the night, but they may get it in before it completely gets dark. There are lights at Nashville, obviously, because this is a night race for the Truck Series, so that won't matter too much. Joanne Cryer, thanks for tuning in. Hopefully I say your last name correctly on a weekly basis. Chris Davis, thanks for tuning into the stream also. Up to 24 likes right now, still in the early going of Stage 1. Appreciate that. Again, this is a 150-lap race tonight, roughly 200-mile event, around a mile and a third oval. Nick Sanchez will be on the inside of row 1 once again for the restart. He's timed out the first 2 restarts nearly perfectly. He's been clear going into turn 1 both times. Carruth will be to his outside once again. Row 2 will be the Nice Motorsport Chevrolets of Bailey Curry and Carson Hocevar. Corey Heim and Taylor Gray in row 3. Zane Smith, Tanner Gray, row 4. Grant Enfinger, Tyler Ankrum in row 5. Row 6, Daniel Dye and Matty D. This is the 4th to last race of the regular season for the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. Because of our slightly delayed start time to the stream, we did not get through the points before the start of the race, so I will highlight that at some point tonight as soon as I can. Probably under the next caution. 45 laps in this first stage as well. They will not have to pit for fuel or tires during the first stage, but we are racing the lap 45 to receive stage points for the first time tonight. Pace car headed for pit road. Sanchez leads them into the Geico restart zone for the 3rd time already tonight, and the green flag is back in the air again at Nashville, lap 17 of 150. Carruth with a much better start on the outside of the front row this time after having an idea of what to do from the last restart. He's going to have a nice run in the middle of the corner. Has some straightaway speed down the back. Sanchez is going to be aggressive with the side draft to remain side by side. The Nice trucks of Hocevar and Curry are still door-to-door as well. Sanchez is going to clear for the lead in the middle of 3 and 4 on the bottom lane, though. Down to the apron goes Curry, trying to get away from the 42 truck of Hocevar. Very narrow apron at this racetrack compared to most intermediate tracks where that is not the case. Taylor Gray gets really loose and had a bit of a moment in front of Zane Smith. Both Smith and Heim will get by to the inside. They'll remain side by side with each other as Gray lost 2 positions in one corner. The rookie Gray gets back in line down to the bottom lane once again. We're seeing a lot of trucks struggling with ill-handling conditions in the early going. There is rubber laid down on the track from earlier this afternoon, as there was on-track activity for all 3 series. They had a practice session for the Cup Series. They had a practice session for the Xfinity Series, and the practice and qualifying for the trucks. Xfinity and Cup qualifying will be tomorrow morning before the Xfinity race in the afternoon, and then the Cup race, of course, is the only on-track activity for Sunday. Six-tenth of a second lead right now for Sanchez over Carruth. Not really setting sail, at least to this point. There's a full second gap, though, between Carruth and Hocevar in 2nd and 3rd. As Hocevar is 1.6 seconds off the lead. Bailey Curry still hanging out in 4th at 2 seconds off the lead. And Zane Smith is 2.3 seconds back in 5th. So that is your top 5 through 20 laps. And you can see all the individual lap times per lap for every driver, at least through 32 that I can fit on the screen at once. Best times of the race, and of course the interval time that changes every lap as well. Showing the points as they run, with Nick Sanchez leading this race, that puts DiBenedetto down below the cutoff line. Sanchez came into this race just below DiBenedetto in points. Not in a must-win situation yet for Sanchez if he wants to qualify for the 10-truck playoff field, but a win obviously would lock him in, and he wouldn't have to worry about the final 3 races yet over the next few weeks. Truck Series will be off next week when the Xfinity and the Cup Series head to Chicago, but then they'll be racing at Mid-Ohio coming up on the schedule fairly soon, I should say, and then they also have Pocono on the schedule as well towards the tail end of the regular season. I do believe Pocono is actually the last race of the regular season for the Truck Series. That Mid-Ohio event will be a standalone Truck Series race. And I believe it will only be their 2nd road course race of the season. They've only ran at COTA so far as the road races for the Truck Series schedule. Daniel Dye continues to kind of slip back after starting inside the top 10. He's fallen to 16th, and Jake Garcia, who qualified outside the top 20, has already moved himself up to the 17th place position. The groove has widened out quite a bit in turns 1 and 2 already. Sanchez ran more of the middle groove, and it looked like Carruth was about a lane or a lane and a half higher than that. Carruth now did the middle lane through 3 and 4. Sanchez down around the bottom, hooked on that yellow line. Bailey Curry still in 4th place. Impressive start for him. Running a part-time schedule in the 41 truck, splitting with other drivers this season. Ross Chastain's drove that truck a handful of times this year. Slow truck of Jack Wood going to be in the way of the leaders. That might have held Carruth's lineup just enough as he was looking to get to the inside of Sanchez, and Sanchez stayed wide knowing the lap truck was going to be there and kind of used him as a pick to hang on to the lead. Zane Smith with the dive bomb as Curry will let him go, and Smith will take over the 4th place position. Sanchez leads another lap. He's led them all so far through 25. 20 to go, still stage 1. Smith now ripping around Jack Wood, who's well off the pace. Surprised he's not getting black flagged for failing to meet minimum speed, so I guess he's meeting minimum speed, whatever that speed may be. It's not very quick. To the severe damage, probably a big old hole in the nose of that racetrack after he T-boned Wallace Allen in that first accident back at lap 5. Carruth has taken looks to the inside of Sanchez the last couple of laps. He hasn't quite gotten to the exit of the corner and staying on the left rear corner panel to be able to side draft down the straightaways, but Sanchez seems to be tight off the exit of turn 2. Carruth continues to chop away at the lead. Into turns 3 and 4, both trucks down to the bottom. This is going to put Carruth in some dirty air. First time in a while, he shoved straight up the racetrack, and Sanchez gapped him by about a truck length or 2. Quite a bit of a gap, actually, as they crossed the start-finish line. Looked like there was about a 4 truck length difference when they were nose to tail going into the corner. Slow truck on the back stretch. It looks like it's the 46. Is that another Nice Motorsport truck? Memphis Villarreal. Trying to stay as low as he can and out of the way as he uses the excess road to get to the pit lane in turns 3 and 4. Luckily, that pavement is there for the drivers to use, so we continue to stay green in this race with 18, now 17 laps to go in the first stage. Fox heading to a commercial break for the first time during green flag action tonight. We'll take a quick rundown of the full field running order presented to you by nobody, because I do not have a sponsor on the channel yet. Nick Sanchez is currently the race leader. 0.3 of a second was the margin of lead at the start-finish line the last time by. Raja Carruth is in 2nd, Carson Hocevar 3rd, and Zane Smith is in 4th. Bailey Curry in 5th, Corey Heim 6th, Tyler Ankrum 7th, Taylor Gray 8th, Grant Enfinger 9th, and Tanner Gray rounds out the top 10. Matt DiBenedetto in 11th, Christian Eck is 12th, Stuart Friesen 13th, Ben Rhodes 14th, and Chase Purdy is 15th. Daniel Dye in 16th, Jake Garcia 17th, Ty Majeski 18th, 19th is Colby Howard and Matt Kraft in 20th. Dean Thompson 21st, Jake Drew 22nd, Brett Holmes 23rd, Lane Riggs 24th, and Timmy Hill is 25th. Mason Maggio in 26th, Nick Lights 27th, Spencer Boyd 28th, Tony Breidinger 29th, and Corey Roper is 30th. Jonathan Schaefer in 31st, Chase James in 32nd, 33rd place is Jack Wood, 2 laps down, Haley Deegan 3 down in 34th. And then in 35th is Memphis Villarreal, who just pulled the pit road. He is 4 down. Wallace Allen out of the race. Currently 23 laps down after being involved in the first 2 accidents of the day. He'll end up with a last place finish in 36th. So that is your full field rundown through lap 30 of 150. Again, 45 laps in this first stage tonight. And so far, your current race leader, Nick Sanchez, has led them all. Ice Demon King 92 Hammer. Acer Isaac, Troy McDonald, Linda Bollinger, thanks for tuning into the stream. John Jones, thanks for tuning in as well. Love listening to the races. Keep it up. Appreciate it. As always, 30 likes on the stream, 65 people watching. Be sure to like and subscribe for more daily NASCAR content if you haven't already. It is a side-by-side commercial break right now on FS1. So we'll keep the live commentary coverage going. That's why we didn't take an ad break ourselves to this point. Ben Rhodes looking to the inside of Stuart Friesen. Those 2 trucks are battling still well outside the top 10. 13th place is that battle. Carruth gets to the inside of Sanchez, and this time he'll hang on to the left rear corner panel side by side for the race lead down the backstretch. coming up on some lap trucks at the tail end of the field that are trying to stay on the lead lap to the end of the stage. Sanchez is going to pinch Carruth, forcing him to have to lift again, and it's the second time Sanchez has used a lap truck as a pick to keep Carruth behind him. Both of these trucks are in a situation where they are below the cutoff line on points coming into the day. Sanchez has a good shot to point himself in. Carruth, although he has a shot mathematically to point his way in, most likely is going to have to win a race to get in. Both are rookies this season, and both are going at it for the race lead. 3 wide down into turn 3 for the lead. Carruth got to the inside of Sanchez. There's a lap truck up high. Sanchez is not keeping the 24 with much room on the bottom. The 24 bobbles after clipping the yellow line on the inside of the racetrack, and they're still side by side for the lead. They did a great job not making contact with one another despite the paper-thin gap that they had between each other. Again, Sanchez going to be aggressive. Another lap truck coming up off the exit of turn 2. It's the number 12. They're going to maybe split them 3 wide. Nowhere for Carruth to go. Nowhere for the 12th truck to go to get out of the way. Carruth has to back out of line, and he's going to lose about 2 truck lengths into turn 3 this time by. As the battle for the race lead continues on, Zane Smith, who jumped up to 3rd, passing Carson Hocevar a few laps ago, is the quickest truck on the racetrack. He was 0.3 of a second faster than Sanchez and 0.4 quicker than Carruth the last lap. Smith has cut the lead down to half a second as the top 3 are all under one giant blanket. For the 3rd time, Carruth gets to the inside of Sanchez. Will this be the charm as he is going to dive bomb into turn 3? Slide job maneuver incoming for Rajah Carruth. He goes up the racetrack. He is clear. Sanchez is going to try the crossover down to the bottom off of turn 4. He does not get enough of a run to be able to get to the inside. There's another lap truck of Tony Breidinger coming up. Sanchez with a second win down the front stretch is going to get by Carruth. Carruth was very slow going into turn 1 for whatever reason. He gets passed by not only Sanchez but Smith as well. Smith down to the inside of Sanchez as Sanchez goes up the track almost into the wall off turn 2. Zane Smith is about half a truck length clear into turn 3 as he's going to try to take over the lead. Sanchez is going to pinch the 38 down. Carruth riding in line behind him, looking to retake the lead himself if they both make a mistake as they stay door to door. A great battle for the lead between the 2, the 38, and the 24. And I think something's going wrong with Carruth's race truck because he was about a half a second slower than the leaders that last lap in line behind him. And now it looks like the 42 truck is catching up. Carruth is slow on the backstretch. He is under power.
On the side of that truck, and he was driving it too, wasn't he?
What a horrible break. That's probably why he went from 1st to 3rd in a space of a corner as they continue to battle for the lead.
None of us were worried at all about Zane Smith and racing for a championship, despite 4 straight finishes, 20th or worse. So un-Zane Smith-like, but there he goes to the lead.
I will say, though, go back and look at how those finished.
So not sure exactly what happened there. I didn't pick it up on the broadcast myself, but Rajah Carruth very slow, making an unscheduled pit stop this time by, surrendered the quick race lead he was able to take. Zane Smith got by him very quickly and then initially was on the attack on Nick Sanchez. Sanchez ended up getting cleared by Zane Smith off turn 2 that last time by, so now Zane Smith leads for the first time this evening. Carruth has finally limped his way into his pit box at the front of the pit lane. So something of an issue here for Rajah Carruth is going to jump him backwards as he is now going to be a lap down, maybe more than that if they can't get the truck back out onto the racetrack. It does not look like the racetrack is wanting to take fuel, so maybe that is the issue. Maybe something of a fuel pickup problem for Rajah Carruth. And they are about to go underneath the tailgate of that 24 truck, and this is going to take him out of any sort of contention to win this race. There's another crew member on the right side of the race truck in the window area, the opening there. And every member of that 24 team is going to work right now. Tough break for Carruth. After another fast start to a race, Smith has already opened up about a 1-second lead over Nick Sanchez. 4 laps to go in stage 1 this time by. Hocevar still in 3rd, and a great job by Bailey Curry, still hanging on to 4th place as well, and he's only about 2 tenths behind Hocevar and closing in quickly at the end of the stage. Zane Smith has finished 20th or worse in the last 3 races this season. Needs a turnaround. He has DNF'd in 2 of those last 4 races. Curry to the inside of his teammate Hocevar as they battle for third. Hocevar through the bumps on the outside, can't get the power down needed to stay there, and he is going to get cleared. Curry moves into P3. Two to go this time by stage 1. 45 laps in the first 2 stages of the race tonight, and we will have 60 laps in the final stage. And those will be the stage lengths. Curry quickly pulling away as well. Another battle in the top 10 for position amongst, looks like 3 race trucks of Enfinger, DiBenedetto, and Gray. Taylor Gray, that is. DiBenedetto had a great second half of turns 3 and 4 to close that gap on Gray. They're all battling for 8th on the racetrack, so there are stage points amongst all 3 trucks currently, as they try to stay in the top 10 here for the final lap and a half or so. Smith is now over 2 seconds ahead of Sanchez. Sanchez still about 9/10 of a second ahead of Curry. I don't think Curry's going to have a chance to catch the 2. Sanchez probably used up quite a bit of his equipment trying to stay in front of Ruth there for the longest time, and unfortunately doesn't have anything for Zane Smith, who is holding back. Qualified a little bit worse, of course, than the 2 in the 24, and was able to run him down over this long run in the back half of stage 1. It's like the Ford truck of Chase Purdy going to make a move on Ty Majeski, who struggled in the early going of this one. That's a battle for 15th. No stage points on the line there. Stage 1 in the books. Zane Smith is going to go on to win his first stage in a long time. Nick Sanchez is going to finish in 2nd. Bailey Curry 3rd. Carson Hocevar 4th. And Corey Heim rounds out the top 5 in the first stage. Tyler Ankerman 6th with a great run early. Tanner Gray 7th. Grant Enfinger 8th. Matt DiBenedetto 9th. And Taylor Gray will round out the top 10 in stage 1. For Zane Smith, this is just his 2nd stage win of the season, and he came in 19 points below Corey Heim for the regular season championship. Very tight battle right now between the top 6 in points. They were all within 36 points of each other coming in. Remember, points leader Corey Heim missed the last race due to an illness 2 weeks ago at Gateway. So 3 weeks ago, rather, at Gateway. And he is back, and with a top 10 start, top 5 start, 5th at the end of stage 1 here. Needs those points. Majeski didn't get any stage points, so he's going to gap him quite a bit. Though Zane Smith, who is 19 back, is going to gain about 4 points, it looks like, on Heim. So he's trying to narrow that gap down as well. Enfinger ended up just 2 spots behind Heim, so he loses 2 of the 9 points back he was down coming in. So here's a closer look at the point standings coming into tonight's race. Corey Heim currently a 1-point lead over Ty Majeski, as mentioned. Majeski does not have a win yet this season. We have had 6 different truck regulars who have gotten a win this year. Those drivers are Corey Heim, Grant Enfinger. Zane Smith has 2 wins. 2 wins also for Enfinger, 2 for Eckes, 1 for Ben Rhodes, and Carson Hocevar has a win at Texas. So those are the 6 drivers with the win. They're all in the top 7 in points and in the top 10. Majeski's 117 points to the good, so even if he doesn't win the regular season championship, he's still looking like he should be able to point his way in. As long as we don't get another new winner in the next 4 races that haven't already won a race this season, then we will have at least 1 driver lock themselves in on points for the Truck Series playoff field, because we have just 4 races to go in the regular season. The 3 drivers who are on the bubble coming into the race today, 3-time champ Matt Crafton is only 25 points to the good. Stuart Friesen is only 18 points to the good. Remember, he was in the championship 4 just a season ago. And Matt DiBenedetto, who missed out on the playoffs last year despite having a win at Talladega late in the season, is only 11 points above the cutoff line coming in. And he is the last driver, just 7 points. There's a typo here, but 7 points is the difference between DiBenedetto and Tanner Gray coming into the race. And then Nick Sanchez, who was leading quite a bit, just got 9 stage points. Huge for him to try to close in on DiBenedetto, who only got 2. So that gap coming into this race was a 15-point gap between DiBenedetto and Sanchez. After stage 1 alone, that has been cut down to just 8 points. After Sanchez outscored DiBenedetto by 7 in this first stage. Chase Purdy still has a chance to point his way in. He's 31 points back, needs a little extra help. He finished 15th here in this first stage, so he didn't get stage points either. Jake Garcia, who actually missed the season opener at Daytona, is 51 points out of first, still having a strong run this season. has a shot to point his way in. He's going to need a little bit of help. He started off really hot this year, but he's only had one top 10 finish in the last 6 races after having 4 through the first 7. So definitely going to have to pick it up there a little bit if he's going to want to make his way in his rookie campaign. But those are pretty much all the drivers that have a shot to get in. Obviously, Carruth, who you saw battling for the lead there early, is going to get taken out of contention. He's going to lose more points. He was 89 back coming in, so likely in a must-win situation anyway with as many drivers as he has to jump ahead of him before getting to 10th in points. Tyler Anker probably in a must-win situation as well at minus 72, and he finished 6th in this first stage, so we'll see what Anker can do the rest of the way here tonight for Hattori Racing. But that is your point standings update. We will be having some stage break pit stops coming up here shortly once pit road is open, which will probably be this time by. The stage break is our 3rd caution of the night, and your free pass was awarded to Tony Breidinger in the one truck for Tricon Garage. Waiting to get through pit stops here. Be sure to like and subscribe for more daily NASCAR content if you have not already. About 60 people still watching in the early going. 34 likes on the stream as we're about a third of the way home. David Niehoff, thanks for tuning in as well. I don't think I shouted you out yet. Sorry if there's a lot of noises going on. I know the dishwasher is running like on the other side of me. Sorry if it's banging quite a bit. And here are the race leaders to the pits.
Well, Adam, speaking of victories, that's what Bailey Curry in the 41 is here for. He was top 5 in practice, top 5 in qualifying, top 5 in stage 1, but struggling with handling towards the end of that. They're going to make some adjustments to try and help him out, Amanda.
Josh, we're watching fuel go into the number 2 of Nick Sanchez. 4-sticker Goodyears are going to go on, as well as Tim is reminding him that this is momentum racing. Keep your momentum 8. And then on the 38 of Zane Smith, having a front end that is bumpy in 3 and 4. You can see some adjustments happening on that 38.
Track position is big here. You want control of the race. Corey Heim diving out first. +4 for the 11. Sanchez comes off 2nd, Curry 3rd, and Zane Smith goes 3 in the wrong direction.
That was a traffic jam. That's what that was all about, popping out at the wrong time.
Ben Rhodes comes off in 7th. That's +5 for him. On board with Matt DiBenedetto, who said what?
A 3-wide battle for the race lead off of pit road was won by, it looked like, who was that? Did they say Zane Smith? I missed it. I was trying to listen to it from across the way. Chris Davis from Idaho. Welcome in. Brett Whiteside, thanks for tuning in. I don't think there's many people from Idaho that happen to watch NASCAR every Sunday. I could be wrong on that. I've never been, but you never know. Why is the Cup race late for Sunday weather? That might have some weather if you count like temperature in with that. I would imagine that is the reason why. It's just so hot in Nashville. I think it's been like when I went there 2 years ago, I think it was like 92, 93 degrees. Plus the humidity, which down south in the summertime is rough. And then last year, it was pretty hot, and they had pop-up showers in the middle of the day because they don't start the races till like 2, 3 o'clock local time. And middle of the race, they had some rain showers, and it ended up being a 6-hour-long extravaganza, kind of similar to what we had with Gateway a couple weeks ago. So I think that's why they put the start time a little bit later for this one. Combination of those two things, but more likely because of the temperature itself. Just a rowdy dude from South Carolina. Thanks for the $5 super chat. Use the word sorry in a sentence. Haley Deegan is hella sorry. Is that what she said on the radio? That sounds like something a Deegan family member would say. Heat index 100 plus in Nashville. Okay, so that is why they have the start time back. That's insane. That's just miserable to sit in the crowd in those metal bleachers for that long, too. It's just baking on you. I've been to a couple races that have been really hot. That one was hot. I don't think anything has been hotter than Chicagoland 2019. The start of that race, at least, it was 99 degrees, like temperature. not counting humidity, but the actual temperature was 99 degrees at the start of that race, and then the rain came in. They had about a 3.5 hour rain delay, sideways winds. That was the day the Peacock pit box blew over, if anybody remembers that race, watching it on TV. So everybody was kind of huddled under the grandstands, but it was so windy during the storm. It was raining sideways, so even under the grandstands, everybody was getting wet. So it was 99, and then the sun never came back out after the rain went away. It was overcast skies, and the temperature dropped almost 30 degrees. It was like the upper 60s, low 70s after that, the rest of the night. So it got cold, and it was pretty much a night race the rest of the way too. So, yeah, it was. It went from super hot to super cold, real quick. I didn't have the YouTube channel at that time, but if I did and I had to do the race highlight videos from the grandstands, I would have been shaking the whole time. There would have been no way I was going to be able to hold a camera still. At least until I did warm up, which it took me a while. It probably took me a good 100 laps or so before I kind of got used to it. Because I was just wearing shorts and a t-shirt, because who wouldn't when it's 99 degrees outside? I didn't have anything else. Was not prepared. They have gotten the 1-to-go signal, and they will be going green this time. Before that, we'll take a quick break, as you're listening live to the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series Rackley Roofing 200 at Nashville Super Speedway on KRC. So Corey Heim won the race off of pit road in that 3-wide battle, so Nick Sanchez will not be the control truck on the restart. He had the number 1 pit box, I should say, at the front of pit road. I should say the exit of pit road, pit exit. But he had that number 1 pit box and remained in second. Fast stop for that 11 team. For 4 tires to get them what they got, they gained 4 positions on pit road. That was incredible. Zane Smith lost a couple of spots on pit road. He'll be on the outside of road 2. He does have Bailey Curry to his inside. They are backing the 24 truck of Raja Kruth into the garage. His night will come to an end. Field in the Geico restart zone. The green flag is back in the air. Curry giving a big push to the 11 truck of Corey Heim. Hocevar goes down to the apron trying to make a move before diving back in line on the bottom. Curry from the inside of row 2 will now look to the outside as Corey Heim is going to swing wide in the middle of 1 and 2 to try to protect the lead. Heim is going to be cleared down the backstretch as he leads for the first time tonight and benefit from his pit crew. And Sanchez, who lost a couple spots on the restart, dives back in front of the 17 truck of Taylor Gray. Zane Smith lost a spot or 2 as well, so he's now back in 5th, trying to play a little defense on Ben Rhodes, who started outside the top 15 and is already in the top 10. Almost 3 wide down into the first turn. Barely clear was, the 17 of Gray on Ankrum. Center of the corner, Christian Eckes with an aggressive slide job to clear Taylor Gray to the outside lane as well. Still 3 wide into the corner. Ankrum chops off the 42. Probably didn't realize he was there. Hocevar is still there through the corner. Luckily, the 17 was cleared. And Hocevar is now been side by side with Ankrum for about a lap and a half. Finally will clear on that bottom lane through the corner. Taylor Gray gets loose again in turns 1 and 2, bottlenecking quite a few trucks up behind him as they almost ran into each other. Christian Eckes looking to pounce on that opening. Jake Garcia squeezes off the 98 truck of Ty Majeski as they battle 3 wide. A ThorSport sandwich with the 66 of Jake Drew down to the inside as well. Dean Thompson trying to work his way forward. He's had a lot of great runs in intermediate tracks this season. Not as great of a start to this one as he's ran outside the top 20 for most of the night. A lot of 3-wide racing still going on in the back half of the field. ThorSport Racing's just not been that quick on the intermediate tracks so far this season. Outside of Ben Rhodes winning at Charlotte, it has been a very, very, really rough and down season for that team. They did switch manufacturers during the offseason, going from Toyota to Ford. They only had 1 year with Toyota. They actually ran Fords 2 years ago, then jumped to Toyota, and now 1 year later they're back with Ford again. So much for a manufacturer alliance. I don't know if they signed a multi-year contract with Ford this time around or if it was another 1 year deal like they did with Toyota. Whatever the case is, though, they did switch manufacturers during the offseason. But even having this equipment just a few years prior, for whatever reason, they decided to go the way they did. Daniel died trying to move himself forward in the running order. Enfinger lost a couple spots on pit road. And he is actually now back at 13th after finishing 8th in stage 1. He's battling with Dye for that position. Ben Rhodes trying to move in the top 5 for the first time tonight. Gets by Carson Hocevar. Hocevar with the crossover move down the back into turns 3 and 4. And he's going to clear the 99 back. And now Rhodes is going to look for the double crossover move off turn 4. But he can't quite get underneath of Hocevar. And Hocevar will hang on. Hand out the window there by the 42 for whatever reason, but that battle for 5th continues on into turn 1. Rhodes going up a groove or two to the outside lane that time. Bailey Curry has ran down Corey Heim in the 11. What a career day for Curry, at least in the early going. Hopefully he can keep that truck clean. He may have a shot to win the race. Zane Smith is probably the fastest on track and is the one to beat. He fell to 5th on the restart. He has recovered to 3rd. After being 3rd in the race off of pit road, he won stage 1 but lost a couple of positions in the pits. Slower stop to those who beat him out. Curry on the inside of Heim, almost making contact off the exit of turn 2, and he's going for the lead down to the bottom of the racetrack in turn 3. Not going to have room to slide up, although he's going to attempt to. He's going to force the 11 to lift or go in the wall. The 11 lifts, gets into the back of the 41, almost lifted the rear tires up off the ground as he makes a move back to the outside again into turn 1. Side by side for the race lead. I'm in the middle groove. The 41 didn't stick the bottom very well. Uses up the 11 again, forces him into an uncompromised position, and they're still side by side down the backstretch into 3. Bailey Curry on the inside lane. The 11 truck of Corey Heim up high. The 41 wiggles on the inside, and Heim is clear again off turn 4 as Curry came so close to clearing Corey Heim. He did lead the last lap of the line, so it's another lead change with Heim leading this lap. Curry led the lap before, but Curry was not quite able to clear the 11, and he's going to have to try this all over again as they battle for the lead. Zane Smith is closing in, very similar to back in stage 1 when there was an aggressive battle for the lead between Nick Sanchez and Raja Karut that allowed Zane Smith to close in and keep his tires fresh and clean for as long as he did. Capitalized on the long run. Zane Smith is starting to run down these guys as he has now cut the lead to about 0.8 of a second at the start-finish line on lap 65. About 30 to go in stage 2. We're actually racing for 50 laps in the second stage, not 45 like I mentioned earlier. Apologize for that. 55 laps will be the final stage distance and not 60. No cautions in stage 2 up to this point. After 3 yellows through the first stage, the stage break alone, and then the caution at lap 5 for the Deegan, Allen, and Wood incident. And then Wallace Allen had a breakdown on the restart on lap 10 as well. Side-by-side commercial break on FS1 will keep our live commentary coverage rolling in the early going of this one. Another dive to the inside there by Curry. I can definitely tell the 41's faster than the 11. The 11 may be holding him up a little bit and is definitely allowing for the 38 of Zane Smith to continue to close. Nick Sanchez, who is in 4th place after the restart, is about 1.8 seconds off the lead. Zane Smith is about 0.2 quicker than the race leaders ahead of him that last lap. He was the only driver in the field to run a lap time under 31 seconds. Just looks like Heim is really mirror driving right now, just trying to predict the same lane that Curry is running on corner entry. They were both in the middle groove that time. Curry still closes despite having that dirty air pocket in front of him. Can he do it again in turns 1 and 2? Curry towards the outside lane again. Roger Carruth's still in his race truck in the garage area. They're looking to maybe get that 24 truck back on track. But he'll be many, many laps down. Been some great racing so far tonight when it has been green. Battles for the lead consistently. A lot of comers and goers already. Off the top of my head, I think there's 5 different drivers who have led a lap today through the first 68, all under green flag conditions, not because of cycling to pit stops or pit stops under caution, restarts getting out ahead. It's been simply passing another driver under green flag conditions in the longer green flag run where we've seen all these lead changes take place. Because the restarts in those first couple rows have actually been fairly tame in the sense that the positions there haven't changed much. They've changed more in the first probably plus 5 laps after a caution rather than the first 5 laps of the yellow. 25 to go, stage 2. This time by the line, we'll be halfway through the second stage. Top 3 still within about a half a second of each other, maybe a little more than that. FS1 coming back from the commercial break. You guys will get to listen into their coverage for the first time tonight live.
Opening stage is third. Sanchez was our pole sitter. He is fourth right now, and Carson Hocevar completes the top 5. Good to have you with us on this Friday night with Michael Waltrip, Phil Parsons. I'm Adam Alexander. On pit road, Josh Sims and Amanda Busick. And we've got a good battle going for second here. Zane Smith starting to reel in the top 2.
Got to give Curley a lot of credit. He's trying every which way he can to pass our leader and just can't quite close the deal. And that's brought Zane, as you said, Adam, right back up into the battle. We've seen this movie before. A couple of different characters, but the same.
The more laps they put on tires, the better Zane's truck was in that first stage. Getting all these crew chiefs had an opportunity to adjust on these trucks.
Ty Majeski slowed. A difficult day for them. Didn't qualify where he wanted to and not had the speed they wanted during the race, and an issue here.
I don't see any tires down on that. Do you, Mike?
No, but I don't. That's off turn 2, isn't it? I don't know that he's going to make it all the way back. This might necessitate a caution. Amanda, what are they saying in the 98 crew?
We're hearing it's an electrical issue. The truck will not fire.
Had 2 early cautions for incidents on track. The only other caution, the one that came ending stage 1. Could the problems here for Ty Majeski produce our 4th yellow flag of the night as we hit the 20 lap to go mark here in our second stint of the race?
Joe Shear Jr.
Ty drove it into the infield.
Could stay green.
That battle for the lead is still heating up.
I'm doing a great job, but Bailey Curry is just right in his hip pocket. Led the 1 lap. As soon as he crossed the start-finish line, time crossed him over, took it away, but Curry is there. Zane Smith a part of it, and it won't be long before Carson Hocevar starts to rear his head at the front.
What about that? The first 4 trucks, just about a second and a half separated. That's impressive. Here comes Carson. You mentioned him in the bright blue truck up top. And look at the traffic ahead. Carson's just got his foot on the floor saying, just hold on a second, I'll be there.
Just a couple laps ago, he was battling with Sanchez for that 4th spot as Corey Hunt goes way up the racetrack around Corey Roper. But Hocevar's opened up now almost a second on that 5th place truck of Sanchez.
But you go back to the latter stages of stage 1, lap traffic was a factor when they mixed it up for the lead. Hocevar got caught there. He'll lose a little ground.
He's trying to figure out his way around those 2 lap trucks. Tony Breidinger is right inside of Roper, and that's for the free pass. They don't pass another truck. Get back on the lead lap.
20 is Nick Lights.
Yeah, that'll put Lights in that position, so that story is over.
Patrick's doing a pretty incredible job. Not a lot of experience here in the Truck Series. Driving for Tyler Young.
Talked earlier about the potential of some rain around the racetrack tonight. We feel like that's blown out. We should be okay, but it's worth pointing out this race is official. We've crossed the halfway point. Halfway does make an official race tonight, with that coming before the end of stage 2. So once we completed lap 75, we knew if we got rain, this race would in fact be able to be put in the books, as the 4 of Chase Purdy makes a move on Stuart Friesen. Been a quiet night for the 52s back in 14.
Yeah, that was a pass with the 13th spot for Chase Purdy.
Chase Purdy just seems to be getting better and better this year. I've really enjoyed watching the progress of him.
Got a great top 5 our last time out at Gateway.
Ben Rhodes 6th. What's their story, Josh?
Well, you know, I talked to Ben after practice and qualifying, and he said, this truck is not where it needs to be. We know where we need to get it. He said it just wasn't turning the way they wanted, but they knew if they work on it during the race, they can get to where they need to be. Well, he started in the mid-teens, got out of the hornet's nest, as he called it, now running in 6th, and they feel good about the truck they have right now, guys.
And with that type of progress, you're starting to think win now. You got out of the middle of the pack. You're up in the top 10. You've got a good truck. Ben's experience. He knows the adjustments he needs. He'll work together with the team, and this could be a winning truck before tonight's over.
I remember this is only the second race with Brian Ross, the crew chief, on board for Ben.
Raja Karu back on track, Amanda.
Yeah, it's great to see it after the chaos that we were witnessing. I heard from the team, to add insult to injury, Raja lost that fuel pressure as he was trying to make the pass for the lead. They had the hood up on that truck. They were assessing the rear. The team was pushing on hoses. They were able to change out the fuel pump, started the truck up, and now it's back racing.
Yeah, I hate that. Spent all that time in the garage. He's being scored 34th. 32 laps down as the 24 just about had a moment behind him. Wow. It's Tanner Gray who slid up the racetrack.
Lost a lot of momentum too. He's running in the 9th position. Nearly crashed.
Racing with a lap vehicle of Spencer Boyd. Going to be 13 laps to go, stage 2 this time around.
I think it's important though for Rajan to get back out there. I mean, he's an inexperienced racer. They know they had the truck to win the race with. He took the lead. They can learn as this race goes on how the adjustments work on the truck, how the truck falls off when the tires get hotter. It's a good time for him to be out there making laps.
Plus, they have to make sure they fix the truck, make sure they fix what was wrong with the truck. Sometimes you can put it on jack stands and run the motor, and you won't have those issues. So it's really important for them to figure out what was wrong.
After getting caught up in the lap traffic, Hocevar has caught his stride again. Right behind third place Zane Smith.
Zane lost a little bit of touch on that second place truck of Bailey Curry.
Yeah, about a second behind him now, and he was right there in the mix.
Carson's caught Zane, as you pointed out, Phil, and Nick Sanchez rounds out our top 5. He's lost about 4 seconds to these leaders, so 4-horse race right now.
Caution, a lot of smoke on the racetrack. Stuart Friesen.
Wow, that's huge. Came in 14 points above the playoff cut line. Was not running great, outside the top 10, and now this for Stuart Friesen.
Think he went around, Phil?
I think he went. There was so much smoke, he must have gone around and then stopped on the apron.
I'd be lucky if he doesn't blow a tire. If that's indeed the case.
Our 4th caution comes out with 11 laps to go. Stage 2.
Okay, I hear you over there, Adam.
You've worked with me long enough. You know what I'm thinking.
I think we're going to stop.
Well, if you want to race, surely.
I think once you got to around lap 80 with 70 to go, I think most of these teams felt like that was probably in their window to trying to save a little fuel. You knew you're going to get some caution laps now. You'll get some caution laps at the end of the second stage. That's what Ryan Preece did back in 2 years ago. He stopped on lap 80 and then topped off at the end of the stage and not put tires on and kept track position.
Here we got a bit of a look at what happened to Friesen.
17th.
Oh, wow, yeah, just went around.
He's now being shown a lap down. Got a big swing in the points tonight.
You talked about it at the top, Phil, that it was subject to be just that, a big swing here and there.
Some in the left rear had all loose or calipers broke or something. Yeah, we were going to really work on it, check it all out here in the regular stuff. Now, obviously, we're going to.
Stewart thinks he has some sort of problem with the left rear.
Team huddling up to see what they can figure out.
You know, we've had the debate with 4 races to go in a regular season. Will there be drivers below the cut line that jump up? Will someone fall out? Well, the driver tonight below the cut line that's made a great case, Nick Sanchez, leading all these laps, collecting stage points in stage 1, in line to do it again here in stage 2. And the driver right now that it appears destined to fall out, at least after tonight's race, would be Stuart Friesen with these problems. Set it off the top. It just makes the competition throughout the summer months, as you anticipate the playoffs, so intense.
I want to come right now, guys, because I think I can make it to the rest of the way. I want to come now. So I know I'm going to have track position.
I don't know. I want to stay out and win the stage, especially if I'm Nick Sanchez.
22 trucks on the lead lap. That could be a factor as well, how you manage the strategy.
Pile up those points. They're all coming. Nope, there goes Matty D. We talked about points. He needs some.
Josh, some of them are coming your way.
Yep, and one of those trucks is the 41 of Bailey Curry. That truck has been strong all night. His biggest complaint, just tough for him to pass. He was trying his best to get around the 11. At one point, running the fastest times. The team told him, just be patient out there, Bailey. Amanda?
Well, you see that 38 pulling in. Your stage 1 winner has been struggling with rear grip as you see those new tires go on the right-hand side. And then for Corey Heim, he's saying the truck is just firing off way too free and takes too long to come in. Little adjustments there before the 11 gets back on track.
A lot of positions changed hands on that opening cycle, the pit stops. Corey Heim, the first off here. Smith, host of Our Roads. Curry, your top 5 off the pit lane.
Bailey Curry, the biggest loser on pit road, both him and Sanchez. Curry loses 3 spots, falling back to 5th, and Sanchez lost 4 spots, dropping from 5th place back to 9th. And Corey Heim once again won the race off of pit road. We did have at least one driver stay out. I'm not sure exactly how many did. I think Matt DiBenedetto will actually be the leader on the restart because he was the first driver of those that had stayed out of the pits when pit road opened that last time by. Hanover Race, thanks for tuning into the stream tonight as well. Thanks for tuning in. Track and Trail, thanks for watching as well. Seth Thomas, welcome into the stream. Mark Witkowski. And I think I've shouted out everybody that I have seen in the chat so far. We've got 60 people watching right now, 47 likes on the stream. Our goal is to get to 100. We'll see if we can get there before the start of this race. We'll take a quick break here before they get back to the race start. You're listening to the Rackley Roofing 200 live on KRC. If you are just tuning in for the first time, this is our 4th caution of the night. And it was for a spin off of turn 4 from Stuart Friesen. This has now dropped him a lap down. The free pass was awarded to the 34 truck with this caution flag coming out. Mason Maggio in the 34, by the way. Zane Smith won stage 1. Nick Sanchez started on the pole, battled Raja Caruth in the early going of the race. Back at 4th for the lead they went, allowed for Smith to catch up, pass both trucks, get to the race lead. At the time of that happening, Caruth pulled onto pit road for an unscheduled stop as having fuel pickup issues. They ended up putting him into the garage area. He is back on the racetrack, but he is well out of contention for a good finish here tonight as he's 32 laps down, currently at 34th. So he was in the garage area for about 32 laps there. Unfortunate situation because it looked like he had a fast truck in this one. Track position's huge. Whoever's gotten the lead, it has been tough to pass them, but not impossible. We've seen a lot of movement through the field. Quite a few comers and goers in this one. Zane Smith, Corey Heim have led probably the most of any driver in this one. Nick Sanchez led quite a few laps at the early going into the race. Carruth led a lap at one point in there when he was battling Sanchez for the lead. Bailey Curry led a lap when he was battling Heim for the lead prior to that caution coming out, and now Matt DiBenedetto leads for the first time as he had stayed out of the pits. He is the only driver that had stayed off of pit road, so he'll be able to pit and take on slightly fresher tires at the stage end. We'll have 5 laps to go in stage 2 this time by. DiBenedetto is lined up on the inside of row 1 to be the control truck that has been the preferred lane by that first truck in the front row all night long. We'll see how he fires off with the old tires. Pace car is onto pit road, a 5-lap dash to decide the stage 2 win this time by. Green flag back in the air at Nashville. DiBenedetto trying to get a good launch. Corey Heim on the outside of the front row trying to get a push from behind from Zane Smith, who is going to nearly knock the 11 truck loose as DiBenedetto's clear into turns 1 and 2, but can he hang on the old tires? DiBenedetto came into this race just 7 points above the cutoff line. He needs points here. That's why he stayed out. He was running in about 8th place at the time, so hopefully it'll be a win for him. Corey Heim dive bombs to the inside down the backstretch and clear in the middle of 3 and 4 on DiBenedetto, who's still in the outside lane. Hocevar to the inside of Matty D now for second off of turn 4. St. Smith trying to bump draft the 25 truck through the tri-oval. That pushes both trucks clear of Hocevar. The whole outside lane completely shifted around the 42 of Hocevar. Now Ben Rhodes is to the 42. DiBenedetto, though, holding these guys up on the outside lane, all lined up behind him. Hocevar got back to the inside of the 38. Another great bump draft from behind from the 38 to the 25, which launched the 25 clear into turn 3. But again, Hocevar is underneath him off the exit of turn 4, and I'm sure Zane Smith is going to try to push the 25 clear again. He's just hoping he pushes him clear enough that he moves down in front of the 42, so that way the 38 can power by on the top, but that's not going to happen. DiBenedetto stays in front of Zane Smith, and we've got a truck sideways getting clipped. It's the 43, Daniel Dye, and he got clipped by the 02 of Lane Riggs, who is now sliding backwards on the backstretch, gets clobbered by the 32 car hard on the back straightaway of Brett Holmes. Fluid everywhere. That's going to end stage 2 under caution. Daniel Dye spins, running just outside the top 15, was sliding sideways for a long period of time before getting clipped in the left front by oncoming Lane Riggs. Riggs was sliding sideways after he had clipped Dye and then got sandwiched hard just above the left front tire by an oncoming Brett Holmes, who has completely destroyed the front end of his race truck. Our 5th caution of the night. Again, this will end the second stage. That's what DiBenedetto needed, was a quick caution, so it locked him into a top 5 finish. He'll finish 3rd in the stage. Corey Heim will go on to win stage 2 tonight. Once he receives that green, white checkered flag in a couple laps, it'll be the 5th stage win of the year for the points leader, Corey Heim. Dye went up out of the groove in the outside lane, just kept it off the wall, but as he was sliding down the bank into the track off turn 2, that's when Riggs had just clipped Dye. Nowhere to go for Riggs. When he got clipped perfectly in the right rear, that's why I turned him around. He did a great job keeping it off the wall, but as he backed across the racetrack, it's mollywopped by the 32 of Holmes. Tough break for all those innocent bystanders there. So again, we are under caution for the 5th time. And other than DiBenedetto during the stage break, I don't expect anybody else to hit pit road. DiBenedetto stayed out hoping to get more stage points, and it worked out for him because he was in 8th, jumps up to 3rd. After restarting in the lead, he only lost 2 positions. Definitely looked like he could have lost a couple more, but the yellow came out with about 2.5 laps left yet. And the free pass will be given to Stuart Friesen, who had spun bringing out the caution prior to that last restart. He is in the 25th place position. He came in just on the inside of the cutoff line looking out at the start of this race. He was 9th overall in the standings, and he was 18 points above the cutoff line coming in. But unfortunately for Friesen, no stage points in either stage. Qualified pretty poorly in that spin. Luckily, he's able to at least get back on the lead lap here. But now we'll see if DiBenedetto can get back through traffic. That will be the one thing. He's had a top 10 truck throughout the course of the night. We'll see what he can do from the tail end of the lead lap. He'll probably end up restarting right around... Riggs has scored 22nd, Dye 23rd. They were involved in the incident. I would probably think right around 22nd or 23rd is where DiBenedetto will restart. Holmes is out of his race truck, by the way, and taking the ride to the infield care center following his hard hit with Lane Riggs.
Points in that first stage now with 8. That'll bring his total so far today to 10. Well, in articles, he's been congratulating his team on getting him to this position. In points said it's been all of the creativity in getting these stage points that has put him in this position as he continues to look to race in a championship in the Craftsman Truck Series for the first time.
We overheard Chad Kendrick's radio, his crew chief, saying, I did that to you, buddy. I guarantee he's going to give Matt DiBenedetto a big hug after this race if he's able to come home with a good finish, because that was awesome. Tremendous effort for Matt DiBenedetto. But the star of the show right now.
So Corey Heim leads. Again, the leaders will likely stay out of the pits. They only ran about 2.5 laps from the restart to the caution flag after pitting with a late caution in the Stage 2 after a spin from Friesen. Your top 10 at the end of Stage 2 receiving the points. Corey Heim wins the stage as mentioned already. Carson Hocevar finishes 2nd in Stage 2. Matt DiBenedetto 3rd. Zane Smith 4th. And Ben Rhodes finishes 5th. Tyler Ankrum 6th place for the 2nd straight stage. Bailey Curry fell back to 7th after that slow pit stop. Tanner Gray 8th. Jake Drew up to 9th place. Great run for the driver making his debut start for Thor Sport Racing tonight. And Christian Eckes will round out the top 10. So those drivers all receive stage points here in this second stage. Some truck regulars running the full season, some in part-time like Curry and Drew. But a lot of the truck regulars and championship competitors for the truck series up at the front of the field like Heim, Hocevar, Smith, and Rhodes. Again, 5th stage win of the season for the points leader Heim. Came in just 1 point ahead of Majeski. Majeski didn't get a single stage point today. And Heim, I believe, gets 16 with winning this stage and then finishing 5th in Stage 1. So that's going to extend that lead quite a bit. Grant Enfinger did not get stage points in Stage 2 after he scored 3 in Stage 1. He was 9 points back, so Corey Heim's going to extend that points lead by a pretty wide margin. Zane Smith, who was 19 points back, will probably move into 2nd in the standings if the race continues on the way it's going now. And he's not really going to lose a lot of points to Corey Heim because he won the first stage, and then the second stage he finished 4th, so he actually outscored Heim by 1 stage point. So starting the final stage, I believe it'll be Heim leading the points. Smith will be minus 18 to start this final stage, and then 1 point per position on the finishing order. So depending on where those two finish here at the end of the race, that will dictate from the 18 number that I came up with there based off of my math from how the points will look, factoring in the stage points scored already in tonight's race. 1,000 next gen horsepower. Thanks for tuning in. As always, here every truck, Xfinity, and Cup Series race. Be sure to hit that subscribe button if you haven't done so already, and also like the stream if you haven't already. Give it a big old thumbs up, and it helps the algorithm out quite a bit. Gets these streams to more people that watch NASCAR stuff on YouTube, and when the races are live, we watch these races along together. It's our first of 3 this weekend, of course. Again, the Xfinity Series live commentary stream tomorrow will begin at 3:30 Eastern Standard Time. That race will be on the USA Network, and then on the big NBC this weekend for Sunday's NASCAR Cup race. That coverage will begin at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time as well, so be sure to tune in for that race. Our pre-race coverage always begins about a half hour to 45 minutes early for the Cup Series live commentary streams, and right at the drop of the green flag for the truck and Xfinity. Smith does score more stage points than any other driver today. I mentioned that Corey Heim had 16, and then Carson Hocevar also tied with him for the second most with 16 points as well.
Depending on the choose, somewhere around 20th, just north of there.
Benedetto on his way into the
You got to
pits.
be patient, but we got a long way to go. He's got plenty of time to get back up, finish inside the top 10.
And Enfinger is going to follow him down pit road. And remember, these
Enfinger
drivers
N2.
and teams will have another set of tires in the pits in addition to the one they're putting on right now.
Amanda?
Well, Adam, they weren't sure if they were going to pit here. Actually, it wasn't miscommunication at the end of stage 2. The spotter was saying to stay out. The team was saying to come in. Matt ended up staying out, and they were trying to figure if they would have enough fuel to make it to the end of this race, estimating 55 to 60 laps there on fuel, but just not sure how this one will unfold. They took the safe route, came in. The spotter at the end said, "Hey, Matt, I'm really sorry. Thanks for sticking with me." Josh?
Well, just an update on the 23 of Grant Enfinger. He got damage on pit road a little while ago during the caution. They had to fix the left front of that car, truck that is. They came back down pit road to make a huge adjustment for that team. They really need to get that truck back to where it needed to be, hoping that big adjustment is to help.
It's a pretty significant contact on pit road.
That was wild.
The 5 of Dean Thompson pulled out.
Watch how far Dean pulls out.
You see the 23 of Grant pulling out. That's him right at the dotted line. And
Ooh.
I mean, Grant had to be shocked that 5 truck didn't make a left. He just drove him right into the side.
And that's typically the crew chief's job to tell the driver how many lanes that he can move out. Now, again, that doesn't mean that the crew chief didn't say that and Dean decided to go even farther, but normally it's the crew chief's job.
You know what I think we should do? I think we should talk to Matt DiBenedetto, huh?
Yeah, let's try that.
Yeah.
Hey, Matt DiBenedetto, Phil Parsons, and the boys in the box booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir. I got you, Bill.
Great job getting that top 3 finish in that stage. I know you had your work cut out for you. Did a great job on those older tires. But how about now? You gave up all the track position, got a bunch of stage points. What do you need for the rest of this race?
Yeah, I need a lot of people to get out of the way. We have a lot of trucks to pass, but no, it's good to get those stage points. You know, we're really, proud of our team, our Rackley roofing team. This is a big race for us. Team's had a lot of consistency lately, 3 top 10s in a row. I'm really proud of the hard work and the effort. And where we are in points, those points are super critical. So just trying to get everything that we can get. Now, if we can drive on up there, get a good finish, along with those stage points, it'll be a good solid day.
All right, buddy, go in there and pass some trucks.
Sounds good. Thanks, Bill.
I just need people to get out of the way.
I needed that so many times in my career.
51 laps to go. We will take a quick break on our own right, but first, before that, don't go anywhere. We have our Stage 2 diecast showing that we usually have at the end of Stage 2 during these live commentary live streams. Got a whole collection, like to show off the 124 scale diecast. Here is a 2009 Matt Kenseth DeWalt Ford Fusion, I believe. Yeah, Fusion. 2009. I had to think about that for a second. I don't know why, but yeah, here it is. Matt Kenseth. The DeWalt scheme's always really good. Yellow, black, and yellow, blue are kind of my favorite schemes. I think those kind of color codes go well together, and of course a classic DeWalt scheme here over the years for Kenseth. Oddly enough, the wing is broken, as you can see on this car. I actually bought it this way. I only got this diecast for $10 at, oh man, what track was I at? I think it was at Talladega in the fall last year when I bought this diecast. So it's kind of one of the more recent ones, I guess, that I bought over the last couple of races I've went to. So yeah, $10. If that's the only problem with it, I mean, it faces this way in the case the whole time, so you really wouldn't be able to tell unless I take it out like right now. So I will take it. But yeah, one of the few Car of Tomorrow diecast with the wing that I have. I've mentioned that before. Whenever I seem to have the diecast with the Car of Tomorrow with the wing, I always mention that because I don't have many of them. But this is one of them, and that is our Stage 2 diecast showing for tonight's race, and we'll have them throughout the rest of the race weekend, of course. And we will take a quick break now before we get back to racing for Stage 3. Appreciate everybody tuning in here tonight. Be sure to like and subscribe for more daily NASCAR content. Again, if you haven't already, you're listening live to the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series Rackley Roofing 200 at Nashville Superspeedway. Doran Davis, thanks for tuning into the stream as well. Appreciate the nice comments you guys give me as well in the chat on my commentary abilities. I appreciate that. Gives me a lot of confidence going forward. So Heim will be the leader on the restart. I would imagine he'll take the inside of row 1, and I would also imagine that Carson Hocevar will take the outside of row 1, but we'll have to wait and see when they get to the choose rule. Coming back from the commercial break to verify that. That's my Google Docs page. Didn't mean to open that. Had my NASCAR Busch Series, NASCAR 7 Busch Series custom schedule season stats on there. Guys had a quick glimpse of. 24 trucks on the lead lap, 48 laps of racing tonight at Nashville underway as the green flag is back in the air. Three wide further back, right around Christian Eckes, Dean Thompson, Nick Sanchez. Sanchez falling back in the back half of this race after a strong start from the pole. Finishing second in that opening stage. Corey Heim clear for the race lead off of turn 2. Down the back into turns 3 and 4. Bailey Curry recovering back to 5th after this restart, gaining a couple positions. Ben Rhodes in the 4th place spot, battling with Zane Smith for 3rd. Curry trying to reel up closer to those two trucks. Eckes now crowding the 2 truck down to the bottom of the racetrack. 3 wide into turn 1 goes Sanchez. 66 truck gets loose, gets sideways, making contact with Tanner Gray and saves it up the hill of the racetrack. Great save by both trucks. More contact now down the back between the 35 of Jake Garcia and the 5 truck of Dean Thompson, who swerved low trying to miss the oncoming traffic. Almost knocked the 35 truck around down the backstretch. Great job by everybody keeping it going forward as we stay green and trying to get organized here. As we have gotten a full lap in following this restart, make that 2 laps. And a great recovery by Dean Thompson. I mentioned earlier in the stream that Thompson has had a lot of great runs on intermediate tracks and has had a couple of really solid finishes on intermediate tracks for Tricon Garage this season, but not off to a great start today. He was outside the top 20 on speed through stage 1, and as I say that, he is backing it into the outside wall. What are the odds? That is the commentator's curse, is what they like to call that one. Caution is out on the speedway. Dean Thompson has just spun and backed it into the wall in turns 1 and 2. I was just about to say he had recovered to 8th place after on speed running outside the top 20, and this has kind of been par for the course for Thompson on the intermediate tracks where he has great speed and gets wrecked out of it. Other than Charlotte, where he finished like 4th place, I can't really remember a time where he actually got a finish, or at least a good finish, in a race where he had been running this well. It did look like he could have went lower to the bottom of the track. Eckes did crowd him quite a bit, but it looked like both trucks were trying to fight for the same position at the same time. It looked like Thompson wanted to go to the middle and take the line away, but that's not really his choice, because there was a lot of room down to that yellow line that he could have used to stay underneath Eckes. Eckes was committed to the middle, and Thompson was trying to take his line away, and it was just over-aggressive move there by Thompson. That's kind of been some of the fault for Thompson in these situations, too, is just kind of being overly aggressive, and this time it bit him. You want to talk about the commentator's curse, though. As I was about to praise him for starting outside the top 20, running there after the end of stage 1, and then getting up to 8th, as I was talking about him, he literally spins after contact with Eckes. Who would have thought that that was going to happen? I definitely didn't. That's why I was praising him. Man, Ty Majeski's lost a lot of points to the cutoff line in this race. He didn't get any stage points, and he's been outside the top 15 pretty much all race long. He was plus 117 coming into this one, and now he's only plus 82, which is still over a race worth of points ahead, and only 3 races left in the regular season after this one concludes tonight for the Truck Series. But he has definitely lost a lot of points, and he was only 1 point behind the regular season points leader, Corey Heim, behind having the second most stage points with 16 and winning a stage. And Majeski, no stage points and still outside the top 15. That definitely hurts him. Thompson's truck is on pit road, and they're going to work trying to get that truck fixed. Speaking of Majeski, he's actually 33rd place and 17 laps down, so I'm not sure what happened to Ty Majeski, but he had something go wrong there where he is DNF'd. I've not heard anything on the broadcast about them talking about Majeski pulling into the garage or whatever happened, but he's 17 laps down, and I don't even think he's in the race anymore. And he only came into this race again 1 point out at first, so I'm surprised they didn't update that. So we have about 43 laps to go right now. Thomas Roth, thanks for tuning in. He's pulling for Christian Eckes. Talk some more about Heim. Well, he's leading the race, won the stage, 5th stage win of the year. Missed the last race because of a illness. I wasn't sure exactly what that illness was, but he wasn't feeling good. The weekend leading up to Gateway, chose to sit out. Impressive to be leading in points even with missing a race. That's how strong of a year Heim has had. He's only got that one win, which was a rain-short win at Martinsville on Kyle Busch, and outdueled him for at least the time that he needed to win that one. And now he's in a situation here where trying to take a little bit of control. We do have some trucks outside the top 10 pitting right now, as there is a set of tires available with 43 to go, and quite a few of them are taking it on.
Going to be 42 to go here as they make these pit stops, Josh.
Yeah, not exactly the night Grant Enfinger wants, but hoping they can get a good pit stop here and get themselves in contention as they get 4 tires of fuel, Amanda.
Well, Christian was pitting, saying that the tires are smoked from sliding so far. You can see the Goodyears going on that 19 as he heads back for the end of this race.
Yeah, he didn't have any choice, I don't think. That's a long, smoky slide, as Amanda said, that Christian was able to survive. Didn't crash his truck, was a great job.
Plus, he lost most of his track position, so why not come in and put fresh tires? I know the guys up front don't have a lot more laps on their tires, but there are some.
It's crazy how the rookies are performed in this race tonight. We've said it a couple of times. And then you look at a guy like Eckes. Majeski had his fair share of issues. Enfinger, not the truck he wanted. Stuart Friesen. I mean, across the board, there have been some drivers that you just anticipate at a tough track like Nashville are going to rise to the occasion. They've had their difficulties, and some of these young drivers that you think would feel the pain of this place have been able to go out and get it done. Sunday on Fox, it's the finals of the Summit Racing Equipment NHRA Nationals from Norwalk, Ohio. It all starts at 4 p.m. Eastern Time on Fox and the Fox Sports app. Let's play a little trivia here.
All right.
What driver in tonight's field won NHRA Norwalk 2018?
Well, I mean, we've got a pro stock national champion in our field. I'm assuming it might be him.
How about it?
Tanner Gray?
En route to the title in 2018, he got it done in Norwalk.
The youngest ever to win an NHRA championship.
Is that a one-up? Because I threw the trivia out there, Phil answers it, and then tries to better my facts.
Yeah, that's exactly what that was. But man, that's
Is there any math? Can I do some math?
That's a great story that he won the championship, but he wanted to come NASCAR racing, and he's certainly a breath of fresh air in the truck. So win waiting to happen in my eyes, riding along in the 7th spot right here. Crazier things have happened in Nashville. I seen a guy win from 5th on the last lap, Derry.
I think he's talking about himself. Michael is.
We remember it well.
Wonder why you remember it well.
And hey, by the way, he wants to win because when you look at the points as they run, he's got a playoff position by exactly 1 point right now.
40 laps to go this time by. We'll try to get another restart in here in the beginning half of Stage 3. Corey Heim again on the inside of the front row. Hosevard who's outside row 2. Bailey Curry and Zane Smith. Bottlenecking start for both lanes as the green flag is back in the air. Hosevard's got a bumper out in front of the outside. Ben Rhodes trying to sneak underneath of Bailey Curry. Curry throws a block to the bottom lane on the yellow line, getting into the corner, and Carson Hosevard times the restart out perfect. He's going to get to the lead off of turn 2. Carson Hosevard out in front for the first time tonight. 3 wide further back in the top 10 as they funnel into turn 3. Tanner Gray, Jake Garcia, and Jake Drew all in that battle for about 8th place. Phenomenal run for Drew, by the way. He was also outside the top 20 on speed and qualified outside the top 20 to start this race, but now he's gotten into the top 10 in his first truck start this year for ThorSport. It's been probably the second best door sport truck in the 5 all night tonight, only behind Ben Rhodes, former champ, who has been right around 4th through 6th since the end of stage 1. And even he qualified outside the top 15 earlier on. But Hocevar led his first lap of the night off this recent restart. We'll see with the track position if he can hang on. Bailey Curry jumped ahead of defending champion Zane Smith for 3rd again on the restart. Curry looked to be one of the fastest trucks in the field at the end of stage 2. Lost 4 positions on pit road. And under these last 2 restarts has gone from about 7th back up to 3rd. So he's looking to get himself in contention to potentially win his first career truck race. 3 wide, down the back to Benedetto, who just pitted moments ago. Stuart Friesen, who gets a launch from the 88. He's going to go 3 wide to the bottom. Taylor Gray is in the middle. He's going to back out of the gas whether he wanted to or not. It looked like he got a bit squirrely. Kept the truck off the wall, but gets cleared by all 3 trucks because both Kraft and DiBenedetto and the 52 were able to get by. And now Eckes, who just pitted during this most recent yellow on slightly fresher tires, will get to the inside and get by Taylor Gray through 1 and 2 as well. Heck is trying to make up some ground following the restart. He's up to 16th place. Freshest tires in the field, and he's already gained a handful of positions since the restart. Friesen and Edfinger also pitted during that caution flag period. They're up 6+ positions between the 3 of them since the restart. Drew to the inside of the 15 truck of Gray once again as they battle for 9th. Drew getting held tightly on the bottom, but keeps his truck very stable on the inside. And I'm sure Tanner's going to crowd him again in 3 and 4. It seems like there's a few more bumps in the outside lane in turns 3 and 4, and I think that's why it may be a little harder to hold that lane on that end of the track versus 1 and 2. Drew slides up maybe into the wall as he cleared the 15 off turn 4. And I think Gray might have lifted to keep it off the back of the 66 when he got into the wall, because now Jake Garcia is on the inside trying to battle back for another top 10 finish. And Drew was able to hang on in front of Tanner Gray for this first lap following that contact with the wall. It definitely looked like he scraped it as he had that right rear yawing out off the exit of turn 4 that last time by. He was about a truck length ahead of him the next time by off that same corner. Carson Hocevar has extended his lead to 1.1 seconds over Heim since the restart after taking his first lead of the night. We haven't really talked about Hocevar much because it doesn't really seem like he had a race-winning race truck. He had a fast truck, but maybe not a race-winning truck up to this point. It was his teammate Bailey Curry who maybe looked like the better of the two. It was contending and actually led laps early on. But now Curry, who is still having a good day in 4th right now, as he just got passed by Zane Smith that last time off turn 4. Hocevar is the one leading and slowly pulling away. Top 10 with 33 to go. Carson Hocevar leads by 1.2 seconds over Corey Heim in 2nd. Zane Smith's 3rd, 1.6 seconds off the lead. Bailey Curry 4th, 1.8 seconds off the lead. And Ben Rhodes is 5th, 4 seconds back. Tyler Ankram's in 6th place, 4.3 seconds back. 4.6 seconds off the lead is Nick Sanchez in 7th. Chase Purdy 8th. 5.3 seconds off the lead. Jake Drew 9th, 6.9 seconds off the lead, and 7.2 seconds back interval-wise is Tanner Gray in 10th. So that is your top 10 as of right now. We'll take our final break of the race with 31 laps to go. You're listening live on KRC for the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series Rackley Roofing 200 at Nashville Superspeedway. Hoping I jinx Heim. Oh, that's why you wanted me to talk about Heim. I understand now, because I jinxed Dean Thompson as I was talking about him. See, the problem is I talked about him under the caution when nothing could go wrong because there's no pit stops or anything, so that's why Corey Heim. I mean, he did lose the lead on the restart. I guess that's going for him. Hocevar's still quicker. I mean, the only thing you could look at now is because there's still 30 to go, is Hocevar going to be able to hold on to the longer run? Because remember, it was Zane Smith who was the fastest on the long run all the way back in stage 1. Took him till towards the end of the stage to get by Sanchez and Carruth, who were battling for the lead at the time. So we'll see if that'll be the case again here. We've had at least one long run in each of the first 3 stages so far, despite the fact that we've had fairly evenly spread out cautions, 6 of them to be exact. We have had 7 different drivers lead at least 1 lap, 10 lead changes amongst those 7 drivers so far tonight, and we may not have seen the last both caution or lead change in this one. Zane Smith going to move into second as he passes Corey Heim through 3 of 4. Same spot on the racetrack that he got by the 41. He's really rounding the bottom lane of that corner off very well. Goes back to the bottom through turns 1 and 2, giving Heim the middle to upper groove, but Heim can't do anything with it as the 38 seems to be unbeatable. We do have a truck smoking down the backstretch, trying to lift their way back to pit road. Not that far in front of the leaders. Hopefully we can get there and stay green. And we'll see if Zane Smith's got anything for Hocevar under green flag conditions. He's 1.9 seconds off the lead after passing Heim, and we'll see if he can start to cut into that. Heim has really dropped his pace off quite a bit over recent laps. Picked back up a little bit that last time by. Ben Rhodes was actually the quickest between Heim, Curry, and Rhodes in the top 5. The problem is Ben Rhodes has about 5.9 seconds off the lead, and he's a full 3.5 seconds behind Heim and Curry. Maybe part of why he ran as quick of a lap as he did is because he's got more clean air than those other 2 trucks in front of him. Pretty equal that last lap for the most part for Smith versus Hocevar. Smith was about 0.04 of a second quicker, and now that last lap at the line, he was about 0.02 of a second quicker. So very, very slightly, Smith has ran faster laps than Hocevar, but he might have to pick up the pace a little bit more than that if he's going to want to catch him with 27 to go.
Positive things in the last month or so, but on the other end of that, momentum, confidence, all of those things coming in belong to Carson Hocevar. No, he hadn't won since he got that first career victory in Texas, but 4 consecutive top 5 finishes, and what he's done when he's run the Xfinity car, 2 top 10s, made his Cup debut. Across the board, he has been impressive and showing that confidence off again tonight.
We'll also run the Xfinity race tomorrow, as well as Zane Smith will.
Nick Sanchez, a lot of speed, trying to crack the top 5.
Be huge for Nick. Comes in there just a little bit below the cut line. He's already received 9 stage points during this race. Finished second in that first stage. A good solid finish here will certainly help him.
He's showing 2 out right now. So Sanchez doing everything he needs to chip away at that cut line and try to make the playoffs in his rookie campaign for Rev Racing.
He is right there. These trucks are 6 seconds back from Carson Hocevar, who you said Phil that Zane had been gaining on him. That time Hocevar was the fastest truck, and he's got a 2-second cushion, so could be getting to a point where if Zane wants to do anything with our leader Hocevar, might need a caution.
Yeah, I agree.
Chase Purdy, 8, Josh.
Yeah, for Chase Purdy, it's crazy the difference a couple races can make. A couple weeks ago, he found himself inside the playoffs, and then he said he looked up after a race stretch of 5 races. He was outside the playoffs looking in. He said the biggest thing he learned from watching film, he needs to get better at restarts. He said, those have been killing me. If I can clean those up, then I have a chance to get myself back into playoff position. So if we do get another caution, look for Chase Purdy and what he's been working on with those restarts, guys.
He just gets better and better and better each week, and I see a lot of speed from Chase, and that builds confidence, and you want to try harder, you want to be more aggressive when you gain that confidence. Top 5 last time out at St. Louis, and now another solid run here tonight.
You guys mentioned half the time this year he's been in the top 10, headed towards another one right here.
First year driving full-time for Kyle Busch, and he seems to have settled into the team that he needs to be with if he's going to make the gains he would like to advance in his career.
Carson just putting the laps down. Another time around. That time he lost about 1/10 of a second to Zane Smith, but he still continues to hold a healthy lead.
NASCAR just passed word to us, Dean Thompson involved in that crash a number of laps ago, released from the infield care center. Thankful for that.
Really high line there for Carson.
Comes back to the start-finish line. This will be our Craftsman 20 laps to go at Nashville. The advantage 1.9 seconds for Hocevar over second place Zane Smith. Corey Heim 3.3 seconds back. Bailey Curry is 4th, Ben Rhodes 5th.
Couple tenths gain that lap by Zane. closed it back inside of 2 seconds.
Yeah, we're having to keep an eye on that. Got it down under 2 seconds, and we were looking at that crazy wide line. I think that's a little higher than he wanted to be there. We'll see if he's able to pick up the pace on this lap.
Look at Timmy Hill in the 56, 18th inside the top 20.
Colby Howard, as you saw go by there, he's several laps off the pace in that 9 truck, but Hill's doing a great job inside the top 20.
Certainly is. A couple good stories here in the top 20. Right behind Timmy Hill is the 1 truck of Tony Breitinger. She's doing a nice job right now on the lead lap. Running in the 19th position. Remember her debut at Kansas a few weeks ago with a top 15, another top 20. Good job for her. And she will make the trek to Minnesota to run the ARCA Menards race tomorrow night that we'll have on FS2.
Big thing for her here and at Kansas, running all the laps and gaining that experience that you need if you're going to advance. 20 is Nick Lights.
Another truck up inside the top 20.
Yeah, driver for Tyler Young, 21st is his best career finish, so looks like he might be able to better that.
Mason Maggio in the 34, right behind him, and those are the last 2 trucks on the lead lap. So they're going to definitely have respectable finishes. They can just finish up what they've started.
Maggio got the free pass earlier, hanging in there.
Lev rack on the side of that 34 truck for Maggio.
Hocevar was in the same straightaways. I mean, he's probably about 2 seconds behind them right now.
It's going to be interesting to see what role lap traffic plays late in this race. We saw it factor into stage 1, also saw it when they were battling for the lead before the caution came out at the end of stage 2.
That lead is now under 2 seconds, down to 1.5, so Zane is making some inroads on the lead that Carson was enjoying, and that gets on your nerves as a driver. Every truck you catch won't get out of the way. You look in the mirror and that truck gets bigger. Your spotter's just telling you, pay attention to what's ahead of you.
And they're racing from position 2, those trucks ahead of him. You want them to get out of your way, but they're also racing. We just talked about them racing for the top 20. This is going to hurt Carson right here.
Carson Hocevar saying the same thing that Matt DiBenedetto told you on the radio. I need these drivers to get out of my way.
That 34 truck wanted Carson to go low, but Carson's been running the high lane, so that threw his timing off.
14 laps to go. The advantage is 2.5 seconds.
Battle for 5th here.
This is huge for Sanchez.
There he goes. Strong center of the corner there for that 2 truck.
Look up there in the pylon. We're seeing who's fastest and how tight the front runners are right now.
They all run the same lap speed.
Exactly.
Crazy. Ben's trying to fight back on the inside of Sanchez.
Sanchez clears him. Been fast enough to be all over the back of Ben, so I expect him to drive away. This thing's winding down. It's a good run, too. Jake Garcia. He's in the 11th position, steadily gained all night long. Running just ahead of Stuart Preeson, who had that spin and got back on the lead lap.
Nice recovery by Stewart, though.
Yes.
To get back to that 12th spot. There he is, that red truck, the Ferris Mowers truck.
But you know, he had that big rally. It's like he got to 12th, 13th, and then he's been able to do nothing more with it. But as they run right now, he's still above the cut line. Came in plus 14, right now showing plus 2. Bottom of the pylon there, you see where everyone runs right now, and when we finish tonight, there will be only 3 races to go to the playoffs, and next time around, there will be only 10 laps to go for Carson Hocevar, who's trying to get his 2nd career victory.
But he looks in that mirror, and there's the 38 of Zane. We know how good this truck's been on the longer run.
I go back to last year. Ryan Preece was leading. Zane Smith was 2nd, and before you knew it, Zane Smith was right there. Couldn't make the pass and take the win. win away from Ryan Preece, but boy, did he make a big rally in the final 6-7 laps a year ago.
Michael, he gained a quarter of a second that lap. Zane did.
Oh, trouble!
That's Friesen.
Multiple trucks around into the infield grass off of turn 4. Stuart Friesen, playoff contender, involved, as well as Christian Eckes. And with 9 laps to go in the race, we're about to rack them and stack them for at least one more restart. Heavy contact with the 52 and the 19 as they were battling just inside the top 10, I do believe. Maybe just outside the top 10, right around 11th. 11th or 12th. Zane Smith was about 2/10 quicker than Hocevar the lap before that contact happened. It was going to be interesting to see if Smith was going to run down Hocevar for those final 9 laps. And that will not be the case anymore. And we do have some crew members on the wall. And it'll be very interesting to see if anybody will end up hitting pit road, knowing we're only going to have a few laps left on an upcoming restart. Second time that Friesen got loose off turn 4. First time he was on the bottom when he spun, bringing out a caution late in stage 2, when now spinning on the high lane off of turn 4. And when he came down the track, he actually clipped the right rear quarter panel of Grant Enfinger's number 23 truck. Luckily, Enfinger was able to drive on, and hopefully he doesn't have too much damage there. But then the 52 kept coming down the racetrack all the way to the infield grass on the front stretch and ended up taking the 19 truck, who was on the bottom lane underneath the 52 when the 52 spun with him. So late caution with Hocevar leading. We've seen this a few times already in the last couple of seasons. Luckily, he has the monkey off his back, getting that first career win at Texas on a late race restart when he wasn't in the lead. In the late going, led only the final lap. And that was after the top 2 had wrecked in front of him, trying to seal the deal with a win here. Now, we got to the lead on the outside lane in the last restart, never looked back. He had led every lap since that last restart with about 40 to go. As far as the laps led total on this race goes, Corey Heim has led the most so far. Hocevar has led the 3rd most, only behind Heim, and then Sanchez has 38. But it's going to be an interesting decision on if you pit or not. If you're Hocevar in that 42 team, I think you have to stay out and bank on more drivers towards the back half of the lead lap pitting. There are 17 trucks in the lead lap, one of which is Friesen, though, who just has a bunch of damage on his truck. So looking more at 16 trucks on the lead lap. A lot of these teams have one set of tires left. The only ones that don't, DiBenedetto still has one because he stayed out during the stage break. I think Grant Enfinger is on his last set of tires. So I think Enfinger, no matter what, is staying out. But we'll see how many other trucks in front of him stay out. Currently, Enfinger is in 12th. Eckes back on pit road to repair more damage. Pit road is still closed, though, for anybody who wasn't collected in that last incident. And we're only going to have 6 laps to go this time by. So when we get a restart, it's going to be with probably 3 or less laps left, if I had to guess. So I just don't think it is worth trying to pit, because although tires matter here and they've got about 40 laps on them, maybe a little bit more than that because they had the end of stage 2, a couple laps there, they're probably in the ballpark of about 45-ish, give or take, laps on their tires. I just don't think it's worth pitting for a 2-lap dash. We saw DiBenedetto on similar older tires when he didn't even have a race-winning truck and was in 8th place, only fell back to 3rd in about 2.5 laps. So it's just too risky. I think Hocevar has a better truck, obviously, than what DiBenedetto has. Zane Smith, Corey Hunt, really most of the top, I'd probably say the entire top 5 probably had better trucks than the 25. Even Rhodes at 6 probably did. Anchor finished 6th in the first 2 stages tonight, so I think it's just wise to stay out. Obviously, you're at the tail end of the lead lap. You pit, maybe you get a chance at a top 10 because there are only 16 trucks with damage that'll be on the lead lap for the upcoming restart, but we'll see. Pit road is open that time by. The leader's staying out. There are a couple on the way in. Ben Rhodes, Nick Sanchez are in the pits. Bailey Curry in also.
41 coming to you, Josh.
And I can tell you, crew chief Mike Hillman was not happy with that caution. He slammed his fist on the pit box when it came out, but he said we are coming to pit no matter what to get those tires.
Looks like 2 tires only for Bailey Curry. Going to be 4 for Sanchez.
It's going to be offense versus defense on what Could be the final restart of the night.
Sanchez got blocked in too, Phil. Slow exit for him. Jake Drew also a slow stop in that 66 back there.
Ingram comes out behind Sanchez. There's Taylor Gray.
This is going to be wild. Did I mention earlier there's hungry drivers?
Yes.
And they're going to have fresh tires on some of those trucks and old ones on others. A recipe for NASCAR overtime.
It's looking like the top 6 trucks stayed out.
As we do the choose, Hocevar, the leader all night, been taking the inside lane. Zane Smith on recent restarts has been going outside. Do we anticipate those same choices from the top 2 here?
I think you have to take the front row. I don't think you can give up the front row. Because you never know if Carson Hocevar could spin the tires. And
I mean, that's how Hocevar got to the lead on the last restart. He was on the outside.
Out front as they go by.
Got to take the front row.
The timing line, then he would have the lead for the next restart.
Do the choose with 5 to go. We'll get a restart with 4 remaining.
I don't think they're going to give them more to go. See the caution flag waving up top. They're still sorting out the lineup. We get word from NASCAR.
So the plot thickens. Going to be even less time. And those drivers that came down pit road and got the tires are saying, "Are you kidding me? Let's do the choose and get the green back out."
Let's go. Bailey Curry looks like we'll probably restart on the 4th row.
First of the trucks with fresh tires.
And he's got 2 tires on that 41. There's Bailey. Just trying to close out what could be a career night for him.
Hey, we were talking about Chase Purdy and how good he's been lately. So, they stay out here and they're going to be a part of this mix. A guy like Garcia, who has not won, needs to win to get in the playoffs. There he is. One of those drivers that stayed out, unfortunately, on the back end of that group, but going to have some great track position.
There's our
this restart that's going to get wild.
Our NHRA champion, Tanner Gray. He's up in the top 5 trying to put it together on the oval.
And remember, Bailey Curry has not run all the races. He is not playoff eligible. That truck would be playoff eligible, but not the driver.
We got everything sorted out with the lineup here, so should do the choose this time around with 4 to go. Return to the green flag with 3 to go.
We saw the 19 of Christian Eckes come to pit road before it was open. He and Stuart Friesen both. They will have to restart from the tail end of the field.
And Tony Beidinger talked about her being in the top 20. She got the free pass, and she's 18. So another solid effort, like you guys said, running all the laps, learning. Good job by her.
Hocevar inside, Zane Smith outside, just as you guys anticipated. Top 2 take the front row.
Matt Craftsman, steady as she goes. You talked about up to 11th. How will he fare?
So the top 6 trucks that will be on this restart stayed out of the pits, and Bailey Curry, who won the race out of the pits, took right sides only. Everybody behind Curry on pit road took 4 tires. Curry will be on the outside of row 3 for this ensuing restart. About 45 to 50 lap green flag tires is the difference between those that stayed out versus those that pitted. 3 lap green-white checker shootout to decide the winner of the race. If the race leader gets to the white flag before a caution comes out, the next flag would end the race after the white is in the air, whether it be the checker or the yellow. Hopefully we get a green flag finish. Hopefully this is the final restart, and hopefully we see a classic finish. It has been a great race, probably one of the better truck races of the season, in my opinion, especially the way the first half of it flew by. Hocevar's really dominated the final stage out of seemingly nowhere. He's been in contention all night, but never really looked like he had the fast truck until he ended up taking the lead. Smith was running faster lap times right before the caution came out. He'll be on the outside, Hocevar on the inside. Chase Purdy gives Hocevar the launch in the Geico restart zone. Green flag back in the air. Great restart by Hocevar after a great push from behind. It looked like Zane Smith might have stalled out initially. 3 wide going into the first turn for about 4th place. Purdy goes up the hill. The 15 gets into the back of him and gets sideways. Hocevar still clear off the exit of turn 2 with the lead. They're 3x3 in the back half of the top 10. Can Zane Smith have anything for Carson Hocevar, and can those drivers on 4 fresh tires try to break themselves into the top 5 in case we get another restart? 2 to go at the line this time by. A 2-truck length difference between Hocevar and Smith. Door to door for third between Nick Sanchez and Corey Heim. Sanchez is the first driver on 4 tires that had gotten through the pack pretty quickly. Does he have time to catch the 2 trucks in front of him? Sanchez has never won in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. He's in a rookie season, and he is below the cutoff line of points coming into the day today after qualifying on the pole. He might be too far back, but we'll wait and see. 1 lap to go, sponsored by Credit One Bank. Hocevar is now just a car length and a half ahead of Zane Smith as they get into turns 1 and 2. Smith got off turn 4 very well. He's going to cut to the outside lane. He may have a run off of turn 2. Hocevar went down to the bottom, so he's not going to have quite the corner exit speed. The 38 truck will behind him. Hocevar got a little loose off the exit of the corner. 1 last chance for Zane Smith to get there. Sanchez is in third, waiting for the top 2 to make a mistake. Smith back to the outside. Hocevar to the bottom. Hocevar going to slide up the racetrack. Up to second goes Sanchez off turn 4 as he's going to drag race Zane Smith, and Carson Hocevar is going to win at Nashville. Hocevar gets his second win of the 2023 season by inches at the line for second. Zane Smith will edge out Nick Sanchez, who finishes third. Corey Heim ends up fourth, and Bailey Curry rounds out the top 5. Chase Purdy 6th, Matt DiBenedetto 7th, Tyler Ankrum 8th, Ben Rhodes 9th, and Jake Garcia rounds out the top 10. 11th place was Tanner Gray, Jake Drew 12th. 13th, Grant Enfinger, Taylor Gray 14th, Matt Crafton 15th, Timmy Hill 16th, Tony Breidinger 17th, and Stuart Friesen, last truck on the lead lap, finishes 18th place tonight. Nick Lights 19th, Mason Maggio 20th, Corey Roper 21st, Daniel Dye 22nd, Christian Eckes finishes 23rd, Jonathan Schaefer 24th, and Spencer Boyd 25th. Chase Janes 26th, Lane Riggs 27th, Haley Deegan 28th, Colby Howard 29th, and Jack Wood 30th. And then everybody from 31st on back DNF tonight. Ty Majeski finishes 31st. Roger Kruth actually got back on the track but finished 32nd. 31 laps down after having a fuel pickup issue back at stage 1. Dean Thompson finishes 33rd after running in the top 10 and backing it into the fence. Memphis Villarreal finishes 35th, and Wallace Allen in 2 accidents in the first 10 laps will finish in last place today. Hocevar burning it down on the front stretch. You'll get to hear from him as well as some of the other top finishers from tonight's race. Here is your race winner, Carson Hocevar.
Oh, wow. It's even better. What a couple of months it's been for this young racer.
Unbelievable. And he gets to do it again tomorrow.
Yes, he's been really good in the Xfinity Series.
I said it, performing at every level. Think about what he did in the Cup car at St. Louis. You mentioned the Xfinity Series, Michael. 5 consecutive top 5 finishes here in the Craftsman Truck Series, including his second win of 2023 tonight.
Because remember now, he broke his ankle last year. He needs to take it easy.
Here comes Mom. He left her boots up
He
there.
needs to go get his booties.
6th win for Nice Motorsports. The embrace.
And a big hug from Mom. And Carson, your whole family just ran over here to congratulate you. You punctuate this 4 races in a row with top 5 finishes. The best streak of your career with a win. How much are you enjoying this ride that you're on?
I say I enjoy it a lot right now. And I enjoy it especially because every one of these fans were cheering and hollering or booing, who cares. But I'm so excited I get to hold a trophy, and I led it to the line, onto the white, and carried around so I can finally get that out of the rest. And hopefully that puts together any doubters. And Al Nice, I hope he lets me drive a truck for a long time because I want to win a lot of races for him. And in the meantime, hopefully I can win a lot more races everywhere else under the sun and any car I get in. And I'm just thankful that I have owners and people. Worldwide Express, our president, Mike Grayson, finally gets to be here. He wasn't here for Texas, so it's just Phil Gould's a magician with these things, and just glad I'm finally being able to put a fraction together what he deserves.
It's fun to remind drivers and the fans here that you are now $50,000 richer because of the Triple Truck Challenge presented by Craftsman. How does this help support your team?
I was really dumb and put gas in my diesel truck, and I had to pay a bill that he doesn't even know I did. So hopefully that'll pay that off. My dad's at home. His birthday's this weekend, so hopefully happy birthday, Dad. My girlfriend Peyton, I begged her to come, so hopefully this will make her come more often. But man, I love every one of these people that is behind me, and everybody that's at home, and everybody's that's been ever around me. So I wanted to keep going, but I also wanted to save this thing otherwise. But I got lost in my own cloud. I stood up, and I don't even know if y'all could see me, but man, we were celebrating for a while, but I still got a race tomorrow. But luckily I'm 20, so I just get to watch a bunch of other people get drunk.
The 42 is headed to victory circle, Josh.
Well, Zane Smith comes home runner-up here in Nashville for the second year in a row, but you end the streak of 4 straight races finishing in the 20s. Nice to break through even though you didn't get the win.
Yeah, definitely frustrating. Want to win here really bad. Love this place. Just need to be better on restart. Struggled really bad all night from first to second, but third to fourth I was really good. They would just be too far ahead, and then that final restart, the 11, it just jumped outside of us and just pulled us back even more. Was catching him. I feel like we were better than him, but he just had the track position, and he had the clean air. We did not.
Runner-up for Zane Smith here in Nashville, guys.
I feel like that interview is identical to the interview he gave last year when he was trying to run down Ryan Preece. Let's pay.
So we went through the full field finishing results. As you heard, this was the final race in the Triple Truck Challenge for the Truck Series season. Carson Hocevar is an extra $50,000 richer on top of the actual race purse for tonight's race with his win, joining Grant Enfinger and Ben Rhodes as the other two $50,000 winners for the Triple Truck Challenge, as we had 3 different winners in the 3 races. Nobody got the $100,000 or $150,000 bonus granted in that. Again, we had 18 trucks finish on the lead lap. Total time on today's race, 1 hour, 57 minutes, and 13 seconds. Average race speed was 99.060 miles per hour. And we ended up having 7 different leaders, 10 lead changes amongst them. The driver who led the most laps today was Corey Heim, who ended up getting a stage win in stage number 2 as well. Zane Smith won stage 1, led 11 laps. And then Nick Sanchez, who started on the pole, led 38. Hocevar led the second most laps today with 40 laps led. Only behind Heim there, but he gets the win, gets the last lap. We had 7 cautions total in today's race as well, and all but one of those was for an incident. The only outlier was the stage 1 end. Stage 2 ended under caution after a late crash with a couple laps to go in that stage. They're under a commercial break right now. That is going to wrap up tonight's Rackley Roofing 200 live commentary coverage for the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. You can tune in tomorrow afternoon at 3:30 Eastern Standard Time for a NASCAR Xfinity Series race live commentary stream, also from the Nashville Super Speedway. And also on Sunday, we'll be going live at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the NASCAR Cup Series Ally 400 at Nashville as well. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in here on this late Friday night race. Appreciate it as always. Hit the like button on your way out and subscribe for more daily NASCAR content. Hope to see you guys for more racing this weekend. Have a good rest of your Friday night, everybody. I'll see you tomorrow afternoon.